Hi, welcome to a book review of Fantastic Four, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This is a Penguin Classic Marvel collection, part of a series of books. There's 6 in total now. This is the Fantastic Four one. Now, I bought this one fairly recently. It's just come out, 360 pages, and it got, I think it was about £18 it cost me. And there's the prices on the back. You can see £25 and $28 there in US. Now, of course, there's also a hardback version. Now, I haven't got the hardback version of it. Slightly different. Now, it's obviously the Fantastic Four one is going to be different from that. I just want to show you the size. Slightly bigger, but still, I think the paperback one is absolutely fine. Maybe not for everyone. Maybe some people prefer the hardback one. But still, you've got there, it's a standard Penguin Classic. I just love that black. Just beautiful. Looks great on the shelf. Really first-rate, quality book. They seem to have gone, instead of going for all the complete run, they're going for a bit of a sort of some of the classics. And of course, that's always going to be subjective. There's a few stories I would love to have seen. I would have put the Super Scroll story in. Of course, there's other ones as well. The Inhuman story comes to mind. The first one would have been great. Frightful Four, I would have included that. The artwork is, of course, it's on matte, so it's slightly better than the glossy ones. I'm not a mega fan of the omnibus ones. They're okay. I wish Marvel would have gone for reprinting, just cleaning up, but they didn't go for that. They've gone for glossy, restored, cleaned up, to the point of nth degree where all life has been dragged from it. But still, but matte, it still looks absolutely great. And of course, you've got the classic there, Stan Lee at the top and Jack Kirby. Great cover. And I'm just going to show you an example, obviously, of the same page. Let's just go to now, unfortunately, I haven't got the epic for it. I've also got the Taschen book, which weighs about 2 tons. So, and that does actually have it as his original comic. But you can see there's obviously there. It's a glossy. Now, this is not so bad. It's not obviously as excessively glossy compared with, say, an omnibus, but still, you've got there the Fantastic Four. Obviously, Reed Richards there, firing the gun. Always quite surprising, that bit. And here's, before I go any further, here's the other ones. The Avengers and the X-Men. Now, my favourite one, I think, is probably this one. Of course, the Origin. You have to have the Origin. You've got it. How many times has that been shown? Reprinted millions and millions and millions of times. But you've got there going through the cosmic rays. And, of course, they develop all their powers. And at this point, of course, you wouldn't know that the Invisible World will ever come back. And they actually say that. How long will it last? Who knows? Likewise, of course, with the Human Torch. Next story was a really weird one. The Skrulls. Now, it's a good one to include. Of course, the Skrulls play a very important part. But again, that's why in many ways that maybe they should have included the Kree story. Maybe the Warlock story. Maybe, of course, if there's a volume 2, hopefully, they will include those. Because, of course, they are pretty key stories. But I've always loved that cover. It's a very, very odd cover. When they come in through the window, sort of, did they all walk through the window or something? Did they open the door? Who knows? Thing would be a bit tricky. That's always the trouble when you look at these things. You think, how did he get in? Did he smash through the door? See, in here he did. No, not. You actually see the damage there. You don't see it, of course, on the cover. Very odd, but still. The Fantastic Four fight back. And the Skrulls, you can guess. Of course, that storyline is featured a bit later with the Avengers, of course. This one I perhaps think that's probably wrong. The Miracle Man, there's nothing wrong with the story, the Miracle Man story. You got them. In many ways, of course, it's great because you've got the Baxter building, the secret headquarters. It says that. Secret headquarters. I don't think it was very secret for very long. And everyone must have known that was where the Fantastic Four was. Very strange. But I love they included these. The pin-up pages. Human Torch. Absolutely brilliant. And Fantastic Four. The letters pages, which are always great. Are you the same ones who put out the Strange Tales? Blah, blah, blah. S. Brodsky. That's a good one. Letter, isn't it? Fantastic Four. Submariner. That is a key story. You've got to include that one. On the trail of the Torch. Because the Torch has gone off in a bit of a huff because of various things. And, well, Thing, of course, did that quite all the time. But still, I always love this as well. They've included those, which is good. You've never seen anyone like the Hulk. Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. Obviously, again, you have to include that. I always love the fact he's got these jewels that he has to search for. Slight spoiler, but that's the... It goes. But also, I love the fact we'll have ultimate power. Is it the Cosmic Cube? Maybe that's a sort of... Maybe an early part of the Cosmic Cube. Still. But I'll make the owner invincible. You couldn't allow that in the 5th issue, could you? But still, I love that when it gets blown up. He recovers very quickly. That's good. But the thing I really love about it, and it's never been shown, has he ever done this ever again? I have never seen Doctor Doom ever do this. Flying off. And of course, the torch can't reach it. He's right. I'm growing weaker. He obviously didn't train hard enough. He should have obviously been able to do better than that. But still, Doctor Doom flying off. You got the Return Doctor Doom. They've skipped a few stories, a lot of the Kurgo ones and the fantastic. Now, I love the Submariner story where they have to go to Hollywood, which is quite a good little story. But again, not really a story you'd think, why would they include that? But the Return of Doctor Doom, and it's just, oh, I forgot to, I'll flame off. Sort of burn. Everyone starts sweating away, sort of dripping. Oh, sorry, I should have remembered. But in fact, it's about 400 degrees in there. Those sort of things. But I love Doctor Doom, obviously. Then we got this, which is sort of repeating the origin, but it's a really great, one of my favourites, where he's actually discussed. I don't know why I actually had that, why they had Ben Grimm obviously the Thing turned into Ben Grimm in this story. I mean, just an odd way of doing it, but it was great sort of going through, sort of giving a bit of history and, of course, a bit of, obviously, World War time. Obviously, that was probably, obviously, Sergeant Fury, etc. Then you got another essay. I love these essays. I think this is another thing, I think, in omnibus ones. I wish they would include more essays about each and every issue sometimes. You know, what was the reasoning behind it? What also, analysis of it. Always quite fast. Well, for me anyway. Maybe not for most people. But of course, it includes the next classic story, The Coming of Galactus. I love that one. Absolutely brilliant. I always felt that they should have done a storyline with Galactus where he was going on the Skrull world, where we actually see him as a massive Skrull, or obviously on any other planet. Because I think John Byrne did that storyline where obviously everyone sees Galactus as they obviously perceive him, because of course he's a force of nature. He's not actually really there. And that's always the problem. They never did that, of course, early on. Instead, he had a big G. So speak Galactus. Why did he speak? Why did he say anything? Just one. My journey has ended. The planet shall sustain me, etc., etc. If he thought everyone on that planet was complete insects, does anyone go out and sort of say that to insects? It'd be weird, wouldn't it? Next issue, Prepare for Wonderment, took quite a bit of time to get to the end, to get to Galactus, and that was one of the weird things about this story. Great, of course, with the Watcher. That's another story they could have included. The Watcher story with the Red Ghost, where of course we first see the Watcher. It's clobbering time, and of course, again, he's not really there. He's a force of nature. He's not really like... So what are you actually hitting? Of course, he throws something down. Again, treating them like insects. Of course, you've got Silver Surfer, introduction of. But it's an odd one because the issue 50 sort of splits. I've never understood that bit. But of course, you've got Stan Lee's classic one. This man, this monster is always, I think, considered the greatest story by Stan Lee. This man, this monster, all the rain pouring down, very Will Eisner like. You've got the guy, now let it begin, or whatever it is, something like that. Looking very gruesome there at that point. The Fantastic Four, and it gives again another lovely analysis of it, which is always good, of course. And the Fantastic Four Annual 6. Not one I would have included. I mean, it's a classic, of course. I mean, it's a great story. Virtually every issue, I think there's always something in virtually all of them. But this one wasn't a nihilist, not a mega story for me. Let There Be Life. Still, great artwork all the way through. I love those creatures. Just the thing about the end is even better. The Submariner. I know that spoils it. Anyone that was going to be waiting for that surprise. Wow. It's just really, really... And it also has got a nice explanation of why they did it in this format, this style. I never ever realised some of the things that they say about the reason for it. Just a great, great story. But even this is odd when you look at it. You got here, obviously, the Submariner, you see him there, obviously looking blue, Bill Everett. I could never work that out. Could be anything, couldn't it? But still. But you got there nothing of Submariner. And I love the way they're the writing as well, the lettering, just absolutely great. But Submariner comes in, you finally get to Submariner. You can see him there. Oh, that's the first time we see someone. A swimmer. Rod, he says. And Carly. Unusual names, but still. And you got Dorma as well. And then we're on to this one. This is a plot. Now, this one comes from, apparently, Annual 5. When I first saw it, I thought it was the, of course, Not Brand Egg. Completely forgotten they included this. This is a plot one in there. And at the end, you've got, obviously, some more further reading, which is always great. Trouble is, quite often I look at these and I think, oh, I love that. And you go and look and find it's quite expensive to buy. But that's always the way. I really love this. Absolutely brilliant. Like I say, is it my favourite of all the set? I still think the X-Men is still my favourite. I love the X-Men. The Fantastic Four one is still pretty amazing, very enjoyable, and certainly really worth getting. It's a great little collection from Penguin Classics Marvel Collection.